The squad, or should I say squads, because there were multiple squads announced really by the Indian cricket team for their upcoming series against Australia, ended up leaving a lot more questions than there were answers as far as a lot of fans were concerned. Thankfully, in this particular case, we did end up getting both the Indian cricket team captain as well as the chairman of selectors in Rohit Sharma and AajTak respectively address a press conference after the squad was announced. So you did get to, let's say, pick their brain and figure out the rationale behind some of the decisions they've made. And there are two major decisions really that have gotten a lot of people talking. One is the inclusion of Ravichandran Ashwin. The other is the fact that you're seeing a different squad for the first two ODIs, and then the World Cup squad pretty much converge for just the third and final ODI. What it does tend to show you is that you're not really treating the bilateral series with that much importance, given the fact that you have a World Cup coming, which many would ask what then is the point of this bilateral, but that's another debate for another time. Right now, let's focus on what exactly it is that this man right here, Rohit Sharma, had to say about a few things, and specifically the first two talking points I mentioned. One was the inclusion of R. Ashwin, two was the rotation of key players. First, let's talk about the obvious elephant in the room, the inclusion of Ashwin. What Rohit Sharma said there was that Ashwin has been consistently playing cricket, just not in ODIs. Given his experience, how much he's played recently doesn't matter. For guys like him, it's all in the head more than in the body. And truth be told, it's easy to understand his rationale here. Ashwin is an experienced campaigner, someone who's been playing the sport for a very long time. And it does make sense that he would be ready to be, let's say, called upon a moment's notice. But given the fact that it does, let's say it has happened in the past that Ashwin now, in fact, for the past 3 World Cups really, has suddenly popped up in squads just before the tournament, it does beg the question as to what exactly your planning is if you keep on going back to a player you claim to be moving past. Remember, Ashwin was suddenly brought in out of nowhere in the 2021 T20 World Cup. The same thing happened during the 2022 T20 World Cup cycle, and now despite the fact that he last played an ODI in the beginning of 2022 and a T20I in the end of 2022, so he hasn't really played white ball cricket in India for a while, he suddenly finds himself back in the scheme of things. I understand Rohit's point, but again, it does really show a lack of planning, or maybe the fact is that your squad depth isn't as good as you think it is if you have to keep going back to a player who is probably at this point in his career best suited to red ball cricket. But you can tell me how wrong I am in the comments. For now though, let's continue with the video and talk about the other things: selection or rotation and rest. And one player's exclusion, should I say, did raise a few eyebrows considering how well he had been playing recently: Kuldeep Yadav. Rohit admitted it wasn't that easy a decision to drop him, but that he felt it was necessary to do it. This is what he said about Kuldeep. He said that Kuldeep is a rhythm bowler, but we thought a lot before giving him a break. It was more about giving other players opportunities and seeing how they are doing. We know what Kuldeep is capable of, and this is, truth be told, a consistent logic that has been used by Rohit and the team management when it's come to resting senior players. They simply say, look, we know what a Virat Kohli, we know what, even for that matter, Rohit or a Shubman or Hardik Pandya or a Jadeja or even a Kuldeep or Bumrah, we know what these guys are capable of. So we want to be able to test out our bench strength. That is the key part. That's what he said here, and is what he further expanded on during that press conference, and made an interesting point, because he said that the intent is always to give as many players chances to play. If we don't test our bench strength, they will not be match ready. So we must give them opportunities to be prepared in case they need to step up. He would further go on to add, by the way, whilst making this point, that you see the number of injury issues that have afflicted a lot of teams, not least India's opposition in their next series, Australia. And he said that in such a situation, it's important to have players who are match ready rather than players who are rusty, which is why when we get the chance, we have to give these players opportunities, because otherwise, you know for a fact that in cricket, it's always 11 players who will take the field. But if we keep sticking to the same 11, then what about our bench strength? Again, a valid point, but you do have to question whether or not the Indian team have reached that point of the spectrum now where the experimentation or over experimentation is just very much a part of their everyday functioning, and you just see it happen all the time. I don't mind experimentation, but this is the last series that you are going to be playing before the World Cup. Surely it would make more sense to play your core, especially when you consider that a lot of those core players, the likes of KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer, Jasprit Bumrah, all of these guys really need the game time because they're coming off long injury layoffs. Rest at this point in time, I mean, I don't know. I personally find it a little weird, but you guys can let me know in the comments what you think. And if you enjoyed this video, you can let us know that by liking it, sharing it with your friends, subscribing to the channel, tapping that bell icon, leaving us a comment. Also, please don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTalk app as well. And if you're already on the channel, go right ahead and check out some other videos that we've done. For now, though, from my side, it is bye-bye.